For more on this, let's speak to Louise Comfort. She's Professor Emerita at the University of Pittsburgh and a former director of the Center for Disaster Management there. Great having you, and I'd like to get a sense of how you expect this to unfold in the next few hours as we reach the 72-hour golden window.
The critical issue, of course, is search and rescue. It's difficult because they don't have the heavy equipment and the trained personnel to assist them. People are really working with whatever they have, whatever equipment, whatever tools. And this is difficult because it's very hard under heavy rubble and with concrete buildings and steel structures to rescue people. People do survive because when buildings collapse, there are pockets of air that keep them alive, but they need rescuing within literally 2, 3, 4 days.
I see, and Louise, you have compared data from dozens of disasters. How does this one differ from others?
Well, it's very difficult. An earthquake in the middle of a civil war is really extraordinarily challenging. The only comparable situation was when the earthquake occurred in San Salvador in 1986. Also in the middle of a civil war. San Salvador is a much smaller country, but here the population of not only of Myanmar, but Mandalay, it's the second largest city. There are simply more people exposed and fewer people to assist, and fewer nations have been able to respond, or given the political situation, has made it much more difficult to get the international aid in that is really part of the UN Charter and the UN responsibility, the responsibility of the international community to aid any member nation that's in trouble.
And just to better understand how these efforts unfold, Louise, could you give us a sense of how the aftershocks are hitting the area?
Well, the aftershocks really damage buildings that are already damaged. So the worst aspect of aftershocks is if a building is still standing, but it's been weakened, an aftershock will come and then tumble that building down. So many people, if they return to their buildings, are going to be at risk. And so it's really important that people stay out of those damaged buildings. And also, the utilities are damaged, and it becomes much worse.
And Louise, after evaluating troves of data as you did during your career, do you have an estimate of the maximum casualty estimate for this event?
This is really difficult. No one ever gets it right. The USGS has modeled it and expects the estimate to be about 10,000 dead. And in many massive earthquakes like this, Mexico City, Spitak in the former Soviet Union, people simply stopped counting when it reached a certain number. And that's the tragedy, because people are lost. They lose their memories, and they're never able to restore that loved one who is simply under the rubble.
Louise Comfort, thank you very much for your insights. Great having you.
Thank you.